Yo, 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 welcome back to another video. It's your boy Corey. Man, I had a little bit of a dispute with a certain Cam, no pun intended. Um, John Cena, man. Hey, is this my chat? So, I don't think I've ever had that many people on the chat. Wow, I feel like a Twitch streamer. Like, plus. I think I'm gonna be done with Twitch, bro. I was on Twitch for like 2 days. I'm like, nah. I'm gonna just build my account up all the way until January, see if I can get monetized again. That don't even matter, bro. I don't even know why I'm talking about that. But yeah, we're talking about John Cena. There's one person. There's one. John Cena has done a lot of things that weren't great for. Well, they weren't great. I don't know what to say. They just weren't great, bro. John Cena being the GOAT, I don't know why people say that. But yeah. John Cena's ruined a lot of things, and this is one of them. So we're starting here. This is the rise and fall of the Nexus. John Cena is the reason for the fall of the Nexus. So we all know that. Here's the reason why they didn't work out. They were great. They were great.
Hey,
Damn,
it's
Brian,
me, your
that
dry
choking
skin.
incident.
I'm
That ain't
craving
nothing.
something we're missing. The
That ain't
Ceramides and
diminished.
CeraVe.
What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is
Damn,
here.
wow.
Now, I've been waiting for a while to make this one, the Nexus or the NXT 7. Now, they were a group that ran roughshod on WWE until John Cena destroyed them from within. From there, the Nexus was
John
under new
Cena.
management and they were weaker than ever. I'm not going to be talking about the new Nexus in which CM Punk led it. If you want the new Nexus, well, that's in the CM Punk video, so you can go check it out. Alright, let's get into this video. On the February 2nd, 2010 episode of ECW, Mr. McMahon announced that ECW will end in 2 weeks' time. McMahon also announced that a new show will take its place, a show by the name of NXT. The show's premise was 8 rookies, 8 pros, 1 dream, and the winner of the competition gets a WWE title shot. Yup, the WWE Championship. It's weird to think that one of these rookies were gonna main event a WWE pay-per-view. Anyways, NXT was a joke right from the beginning. I did laugh at some random things on the show, but the show in general wasn't that good. Wade Barrett would end up winning that season of NXT. On the special Viewer's Choice episode of Raw, Wade Barrett was interviewed by Savannah. Savannah asked Barrett about his NXT victory. Barrett told Savannah that she should ask him in 1 week's time about accomplishments because he's gonna accomplish something that has never been accomplished in the history of the WWE. Later that night, John Cena was set to face a SmackDown superstar in the main event. The fans had the choice of choosing Cena's opponent. Rey Mysterio, Jack Swagger, and CM Punk were the choices, and you'd guess who the fans chose. Rey Mysterio? Nope. It was CM Punk. Now, WWE wanted Rey Mysterio to face John Cena, but the fans chose otherwise. Cena and Punk faced off, and later in the match, Cena had the advantage and was about to perform the 5-knuckle shuffle when he stood there confused. Then, we see the NXT winner, Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett stood on the ramp as Cena hit the 5-knuckle shuffle. The champ was about to hit the 8-8, but he dropped Punk and instead focused on Barrett. We then see many other NXT rookies, and then they ganged up on CM Punk and Luke Gallows. After that, they set their sights on John Cena. They surrounded the ring, and David Otunga punched the referee. John Cena just stood there, and he realized that he is Cena went after Barrett, but the rookies ganged up on Cena. Skip Sheffield went out to Matt Striker and he delivered a boot. Then the rookies assaulted the commentators, the timekeeper, everyone that is in sight. Daniel Bryan even choked out Justin Roberts with a tie. We'll get back to that in a minute. They destroyed the announce table, they destroyed the ring, and to top it all off, David Otunga hit his finisher on Cena, Barrett hit his finisher, and Justin Gabriel would hit his 450 splash on John Cena to end Raw. It was certainly one of the craziest endings of Raw. No one expected this. No one did. It was freaking crazy. I really love how sometimes WWE had some kind of big summer storyline. Sometimes they ended terribly, but they shake things up, and that's what WWE did on this occasion. Like, nowadays, you don't see that big summer storyline a lot. I don't remember the last time we seen a big summer storyline. Anyways, Daniel Bryan would get released a few days later due to the fact that he choked Justin Roberts with a tie. This release was so shocking at the time, but since WWE is PG, they released the American Dragon. I think if this happened nowadays, they sure as hell won't release him because, you know, AEW. Plus, WWE during this era was more kid-friendly than ever. I mean, Cena said fudging on Raw. This would end up being a blessing in disguise for Daniel Bryan because, first of all, he didn't really belong with the rookies. Second, he would have played second or even third fiddle to Barrett and Otunga, so it all worked out for Bryan. Bryan was
Tonga
voted in the
was
States after his
kind of
WWE
over.
release. Back to the rookies.
Not
The
over,
next week,
but
the rookies came out to the
used a
ring
lot.
led by Wade Barrett. The group refused to apologize for what happened the previous week. Barrett claimed that they were treated like animals in NXT, and when you treat people like animals, sooner or later they will behave like animals. Wade Barrett also said that they were treated like a joke on NXT, and last week no one was laughing at the destruction caused by him and the rookies. The Raw GM.
Are you Zillow-ing your boss's house to see what she paid? Awkward. Well, now you can Zillow a home loan
I charged my computer up.
for your own house.
It wasn't even plugged in.
Now who's the boss?
As a Publix corporate
Let me see
associate,
if I
your expertise
get
and
this.
decisions will drive us
One,
forward.
skip.
And Bret Hart came out. The Hitman called the NXT rookies cowards. Wade Barrett then mentioned that Daniel Bryan had some remorse and he was kicked out of the group because of that. The other rookies would demand that they get guaranteed contracts, private dressing rooms, and first-class accommodations. First of all, who do you think you are, Brock Lesnar? Hart obviously refused to give the NXT rookies their demands. Hart also refused to give the rookies a WWE contract, and then he fired Wade Barrett. Later on, the NXT rookies looked to attack John Cena again, but then some Raw superstars sent the NXT rookies running. At the end of the night, the NXT 7 would cause destruction again. They grabbed Bret Hart and threw him into a limo, and one of them drove a car in reverse and crashed into some cars. Barrett then grabbed Hart and shouted to him that they want their contracts and they want an answer by Sunday. At Fatal 4-Way, that just reminded me, that is certainly one of the worst pay-per-view names I've ever known, like Fatal 4-Way. Anyways, Nexus attacked the guys backstage during the main event,
Fatal
and they
4.
went after the guys in the match. Sheamus would capitalize on this and he'd capture the WWE Championship. They continued attacking Cena after the match, and then they chased Sheamus to end Fatal 4-Way. The next night saw the debut of that stupid anonymous Raw GM. The NXT 7 apologized for their actions, claiming they did all of that because they wanted contracts, and now they got their contracts, so everything is back to normal. The guys began apologizing to several wrestlers and fans. Barrett then said that they have formed a nexus that will never be broken. Well, there it is, the debut of the Nexus name. So from here on, I won't be calling them the NXT Rookies or the NXT 7. At the end of the night, the Nexus interfered in the title match between John Cena and Sheamus. This led to Mr. McMahon praising the group, and McMahon announced that the Raw GM is going to reveal himself in the next week. The Nexus began to stare at McMahon, and McMahon looked worried until they laughed along with him. Once again, they stared at him in a serious manner, and they circled around him as some guys began chanting Daniel Bryan. The Nexus would assault McMahon, and once again, Barrett and Gabriel performed
Was Vince
finishers
McMahon wearing
to
a
end
wrestling
Raw.
shirt?
The Raw GM wasn't revealed the next week. On the June 28th, 2010 episode of Raw, a rule was
anonymous
placed.
Raw
If the Nexus
GM.
attacked any WWE superstars, then their contracts are terminated. But if the WWE superstars fought the Nexus, then they're suspended. The Nexus decided to take out their frustrations on WWE legends that night. Seeing as they weren't superstars, the Nexus weren't punished. None of the WWE superstars could make the save because that meant they're suspended. The next week, the Nexus opened Raw. The Nexus didn't want to reveal why they attacked Mr. McMahon, but they said that McMahon didn't know what their agenda was. Eventually, Michael Cole would read a message from that ugly laptop. He'd reveal that the rule that was made a week ago has been lifted. This led to John Cena leading several Raw superstars, and this would amount to nothing as some heel superstars attacked the face ones. The faces did get the upper hand, and Cena then shouted at Sheamus and Co. Sheamus then said that they have realized they shouldn't attack the Nexus because the Nexus only attacked John Cena. Once again, the Raw GM sent an email. The Raw GM ordered John Cena to shake hands with Wade Barrett later that night. At the end of the night, John Cena refused to shake hands with Wade Barrett until Barrett threatened Cena. This led to Cena attempting an AA on Barrett, but the Nexus ran down to the ring, and then the Raw superstars came out, and it was a brawl. Raw would end with an email from the anonymous GM. Because of Cena's actions, he will face the Nexus in a 7-on-1 handicap match the next week. During the next episode of Raw, the Nexus began attacking a few faces. The Nexus would end up beating John Cena clean. At least Justin Gabriel could say he beat John Cena clean. No ifs, ands, or buts. He beat him clean. You could say it was a handicap match. You could say whatever you want. But at the end of the day, Justin Gabriel
John Cena was whooping David
clean.
Otunga.
John Cena, after the
one-on-one matches they would have all the time.
Running. They eventually surrounded Cena,
All
but
the
Sheamus
time.
came out to help Cena. At Money in the Bank, the Nexus would cost John Cena the title, and Cena would seek retribution. The champ destroyed Michael Tarver and Darren Young.
Michael Tarver didn't do nothing outside of
the Nexus attacked
WWE,
Edge
which is
Jericho.
strange.
Y2J thought that he could threaten Edge with a Nexus attack since, you know, Jericho was Barrett's pro, and Jericho claimed that he created the Nexus, so obviously he didn't know what he was talking about. At
Daniel
first,
Bryan
the
was the
Nexus
Miz's
came out
pro.
and jumped Jericho. Jericho began
I don't know, I
directing
just
traffic,
say
but
that.
then they jumped Y2J too. At the end of the night, Wade Barrett and the Nexus called out Cena. Here comes Super Cena. Wade Barrett gave John Cena the opportunity of joining the Nexus or getting the worst beating he has ever gotten. Cena chose to walk out, but then he turned around and he said that he's gonna end the Nexus one way or another. Then one by one, Cena's SummerSlam teammates began coming out, and they all ran into the ring while the Nexus retreated. At SummerSlam, Team WWE faced the Nexus. Now, first of all, Great Khali was removed from the match after the Nexus attacked him. Second, Team WWE were looking to get The Miz on their team. Come crunch time, the Nexus and Team WWE came out. Miz accepts Team WWE's offer, but since he was late on accepting the offer, they already found a replacement. This guy. Oh my god.
Daniel
Before I
Bryan.
talk about the match, let me just mention the fact that Daniel Bryan's return was leaked on WWE.com 5 minutes before the match. Anyways, I enjoyed
pretty
the
sure
match,
none
but
of
the
us
worst part
know
of the
who
match
Daniel
is the
Bryan
booking.
was at
Let me
this
just
point.
mention one thing before I talk
Unless
about
he
the
was like
booking. Daniel Bryan
one of them
put
old
out things.
guys.
He was only eliminated after the Miz
Then went to go see it,
added to the booking. John
Bryan
Cena
Danielson
took a
match.
DDT on the concrete floor. Now you think this would knock out
He was
Cena,
in
but
Ring of
no.
Honor.
Cena recovered and Justin Gabriel hit a 450 splash, but Super Cena moved out of the way and covered Gabriel. Cena after that eliminated Barrett to complete his comeback. Wow. So Nexus's momentum was gone after this match. The Nexus kicked Darren Young out of the group, then to make matters worse, Skip Sheffield broke his ankle 2 nights later at a live event. So Nexus had only 5 guys now. Now Nexus should have lost that match.
5 guys.
I would book it a different way. I'd have
I
them
like the
win, but
reference.
then I'd reveal that the anonymous GM is Triple H, because I remember at the
The,
time
Burger
everyone was
Place.
thinking Triple H was gonna be a part of Nexus. Now that didn't happen, and I wish it did happen, but it didn't. So yeah, 2 weeks later on the 900th episode of Raw, the Nexus once again faced Team Raw, but this time it was 5-on-5. Before the match, the Nexus made a statement by attacking The Undertaker. The Nexus would beat Team Raw later that night. During the match, Cena got eliminated by Justin Gabriel, while Barrett would eliminate Orton. Wade Barrett would redeem his title shot at Night of Champions. The match was a 6-pack challenge, and Barrett was the second to last man eliminated. The night after Night of Champions, Cena wanted to face Barrett, but Barrett wouldn't accept unless Cena beat 4 members of the Nexus. Super Cena beat the Nexus, and so he's gotten his match against Barrett at Hell in a Cell. The match would have a stipulation added to it. If Barrett lost to Cena, then the Nexus has to disband, but if Cena lost, then he has to join the Nexus. By the way, Nexus is banned from ringside. Near the end of the match, Cena locked Barrett in the STF. Then Michael McGillicuddy randomly appears and distracts the ref. The Fiend randomly appeared too, and he blasted Cena
who?
with a pipe.
Did
Barrett
they say The
covered
Fiend?
Cena, and Michael Cole shouted no in disbelief. Well, Cena's a part of Nexus. Cena
Well,
sat there
Husky Harris-
disappointed. Now, in storyline, this would come back to bite the Nexus.
Husky Harris
The
was
next
on
night,
the
the
Nexus.
handed Cena an armband. They even prepared
Well,
for him
probably
a
not
statement
this-
to read.
not at
Barrett
this
gave
point,
Cena the
but
choice of his teammate
soon.
for the match. He chose Michael Tarver, and during the match, he began messing around with Tarver. He refused to accept the tag, he signed autographs, and Tarver ended up losing the match. After the match, the leader of the C Nation destroyed Tarver, and I believe he broke Tarver's arm legit. Then an email came in from the Raw GM, and the email said that Cena has to listen to Barrett, and if he doesn't, then his contract is terminated. Later in the night, Cena was forced to eliminate himself from a battle royal after Wade Barrett demanded Cena do so. As a result of Cena's elimination, Wade Barrett won the right to face Randy Orton at bragging rights. Nexus would add both Husky Harris and Michael McGillicuddy to the group.
Husky
At bragging
Harris,
rights, the C
Michael-
Nation leader
Mick-
captured
Mick-
gold along with David Otunga. John Cena captured the
Michael,
WWE
just
Tag Team
Michael.
Championships from the team of Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. At the end of the night, Cena cost Barrett the title by hitting the AA on him. First of all, Cena did this because if Barrett lost, then Cena's fired, so Barrett technically won the match. This angered Orton, who proceeded to RKO Cena
I never
to
knew
end
why
the
he didn't
show.
just get a
Barrett the
straight
next night on
line.
Raw forced Otunga to lay down and surrender the tag titles to Slater and
I
Gabriel.
hate it when he got
After
that,
a rematch between Wade
that widow's
Barrett and
peak.
Randy Orton was made for Survivor Series,
Well,
but this time
I
Cena
guess
was a
not
special
even
guest
that,
referee,
'cause
and
his
once again, the
hairline wasn't
stipulation
straight.
was that if Barrett lost, then Cena's fired. On the final Raw before Survivor Series, Roddy Piper hosted the Piper's Pit. Cena finally wore a Nexus shirt during this segment, and Cena hit an AA on both Orton and Barrett to end the show. At Survivor Series, John Cena was fired after Wade Barrett lost the title match. That's it, Cena's gone, farewell. The next night on Raw, the former WWE superstar held the farewell address, and he asked the crowd to chant, "Let's go Cena," and Cena sucks. The funny part about this is the fact that at one point, CM Punk, who was on commentary, joined in on the Cena sucks chant. Cena left the building, and I just can't stop laughing because of how funny it looks. It's like he's gone, that's it. It looks like he's gone, but obviously he wasn't. Anyways, Cena
I
didn't
didn't think he was gonna leave. I said he gonna be here next
Now,
week.
you're thinking to yourself, John Cena's gone, right? Later in the night, Cena ended up costing Barrett the title again. Now, from here on, this marks the beginning of the end of Nexus for me, because there was like 6 or 7 of them, yet they were so concerned that a fruity pebble is gonna destroy them. On the November 29th episode of Raw, John Cena unleashed hell on the Nexus. First of all, he performed the AA on McGillicuddy. Following that, the leader of the C Nation performed the AA on Slater through the announce table. Now, this marks the beginning of one of the best feuds of this decade. Why? Because Cena spilled Punk's diet soda. Cena later on was surrounded by the Nexus in the parking lot, but then many lower card guys attacked the Nexus, and then Cena grabbed Gabriel and AA'd him on the hood of the car. Wait a minute, is that Darren Young? The next week saw Cena ambush both Otunga and
That's what you
Harrison
got
in the
out of
hotel
it,
room.
Darren
Later on,
Young?
Cena cost Slater and Gabriel the tag titles. So yeah, since Nexus was afraid of Cena, they walked out on Barrett at the end of the night. This in turn left Barrett with Cena, who pummeled the leader of the Nexus. Barrett sprinted to the back where he shouted at Otunga and the rest of Nexus. Otunga gave Barrett an ultimatum. Barrett rehires Cena or he's kicked out of the group. On the Slammy Award episode of Raw, Wade Barrett rehired Cena on 2 conditions. Cena faces Barrett in a chairs match at TLC, and he faces Otunga later on that night. Cena obviously accepted, but the Nexus attacked Cena. Later that night, Otunga lost that match, and he received several chair shots afterwards while Barrett looked on. At TLC, John Cena put an end to the original Nexus by dismantling their leader. Cena won the match by AAing Barrett on some chairs. And after the match, Cena buried Barrett in chairs. It's a fitting end to the Nexus. I would talk about new Nexus, but they weren't that interesting, and I did shortly talk about them in the CM Punk video. Now, I would have talked about them, but nothing very notable happened with the new Nexus. The most notable things that happened during the new Nexus were Great Value Batista, Orton punting several of them, and CM Punk's night in Chicago, although that might not count. And that's it for the original Nexus.
Great Value,
I really think they should have won that match at
Batista is
SummerSlam,
crazy.
and I do
Mason
think it should
Ryan.
have been booked a bit better. Like, they should have gotten Triple H to be like
Think
their
he's like
mouthpiece
a,
or something like that, because the Raw
businessman
GM
or
was
whatever.
basically on Barrett's side throughout.
He owns
most of
like
this
a
feud.
company.
Like, imagine if Triple H was with Nexus. I remember at the time some people were saying, "Oh, Triple H is coming. He's gonna join Nexus. He's returning." That didn't happen, and we were stuck with John Cena making Nexus's life a living hell. And that's it for this video. If you like this